Thank you so much for joining me today. It is a real pleasure having you here as we are going to be learning how to reclaim your brain health and finally being able to balance your hormones, release anxiety, sleep better at night, and protect the health of your brain from a future dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So let's begin. I want to let you know that this is not for everybody. So listen to the symptoms that we're going to go through and decide if this is you. Are you feeling moody, anxious, and depressed? Or maybe tired and fatigued? Are you experiencing trouble with your digestion and also having difficulty sleeping, going to sleep, staying asleep, and fully resting? How about a little bit of brain fog and you're unable to focus and concentrate? And definitely, you're maybe experiencing weight gain, especially around the middle. So let me know, is this you? If it is, let's continue. During this masterclass, I really want to invite you to feel empowered into learning how to support your hormones to ease your symptoms, despite the fact your doctor told you maybe there's not much that can be done. I want you to know why treating the outer symptoms with pills and remedies have not improved your issues and maybe even made them worse. Also, the unconventional ways of addressing hormonal imbalances, anxiety, and fatigue your doctor would not tell you about. I want you to learn the real root causes of hormonal imbalances and why quick fixes don't work. And finally, how to support your hormones and digestion as a strategy to use for long term brain health and a preventative for brain disorders like Alzheimer's disease. My promise to you today is to show you the steps that help me overcome my own hormonal imbalances and the symptoms I was having, like anxiety, fatigue, panic attacks, and even hair loss. And it wasn't fun, let me tell you. I want to show you how my clients have also benefited and finally felt energized, enthusiastic, and engaged in life again, while at the same time feeling equipped for success with the tools they need to protect the health of their brain today and long term. Think about it. Does this sound like you? Are you feeling completely exhausted and fatigued and wishing to have a good night's sleep? Are you moody for no specific reason or feeling depressed, anxious, and restless? Do you have no focus, motivation, and you procrastinate? How about experiencing uncontrollable weight gain? Are your health issues sabotaging your relationships, career, and quality of life? Are you asking yourself if you will ever feel better again? How about waking up dreading the day in the morning? Do you know that these symptoms are actually brain symptoms working in conjunction with your endocrine system? So, what is happening to so many women out there? What is the real problem? I know these symptoms are super painful and making your life more difficult, but they aren't the real problem. So, what is it really? The real problem comes from the inability to address the issue from its internal root cause. Not because you don't want to, but because maybe you don't know how. And as conventional medicine will always try to fix the problem quickly with the so called magic pill, relieving the symptoms sometimes by temporarily placing what I call a band aid on the surface, providing short term relief but with no room for real healing, and only to find yourself back in the same place once again, unfortunately. I wanted you to know a little bit about me. By now, you probably heard the accent. I'm actually originally from Costa Rica, but I've lived in the US for about almost 20 years. I have two beautiful daughters, Luna and Violet, and my real passion and purpose is to help you help protect the health of your brain long term. I am a functional nutrition counselor and health coach and the co founder of Brain Love Health, which is a company that is in a mission to help you protect the health of your brain today, tomorrow, and to your future. So it is a real pleasure having you here. So let me tell you a little story. For many years, through my 20s and 30s, early 30s, I felt like there was something wrong with me physically. I had always been a very healthy person, but this had to do a lot with my mind and my brain. It was vague and I couldn't really understand why. And even though it may sound a little dramatic, it always felt like I had a dark cloud over my head. I would find myself on an emotional roller coaster and trying to accept this as a way of life. And while at the same time, I kept blaming myself for the constant negative feelings, it felt really, really bad, horrible, and created so much stress in my life. Honestly, I feel like maybe that's why I started losing my hair. For many years, I suffered with these hormonal imbalances without actually really knowing it. I didn't know that the symptoms I was having, like mood swings, anxiety, panic attacks, overwearing, constipation, and even hair loss, had anything to do with hormones. I never connected the dots, and it wasn't until I reached that tipping point of frustration and pain when I started losing my hair that I had to find help and a resolution. And that's what I'm gonna share with you right now is what I put into practice, my steps to find healing into my life. What aspects of health are we ignoring? I gotta say, these next three key points help me a lot in understanding. We're gonna go through them right now. A mindset shift. Wow, that's a big one. Really, in learning and searching for my own healing, I learned about adopting a new way of thinking and shifting my mindset and realizing that a pill or a common and ordinary protocol would only put a band aid on any symptom that I was having, hormonal or not. And it will never really dig as deep as where the problem is being rooted. It did become apparent to me that the problems we experience are just the tip of the iceberg. And to really address change, we have to analyze the underlying root causes of what's happening to each one of us. After years of study and seeing doctors with no answers, it finally hit me. Modern medicine solutions only treat symptoms and never really address the entire whole picture of each individual. Unfortunately, modern medicine is financially tied to procedures and treatment and not to the very best outcome of the person in need. This is actually one of my favorite analogies, and I want to share it with you. Think of this beautiful tree that you're looking at. How does this tree grow its bright and gorgeous leaves and flowers and its delicious fruit? It honestly all begins in the health of the roots and the fertile soil and terrain where it is planted. If you think of this analogy as being you, you may begin to wonder, well, how is the health of my roots? And that is a great question. The health or illness of your roots expresses in your body as you being symptomatic or filled with vitality and energy. Right now, you may feel like your tree isn't blooming, its leaves may be drying out and falling, the branches are starting to break, even watering doesn't seem to help anymore, and the fertilizer isn't working. This is a good moment to stop and think what's going on deep in your roots, in your internal terrain, which is actually the biological environment in which your disease is rooted. The good news is you can become that beautiful, strong tree when your internal body's terrain and roots are being nourished and given the love and care they need. You can bloom and flourish from the inside out. This was a big aha moment for me, of course. I was missing real nourishment from within. My roots were dried up, and the symptoms I was having were there to actually help me. And you may say, how? My body needed help. The symptoms were alerts. And when I finally began to listen to what my body needed and was trying to help me, that's when I started to feel better. And that's when I started to become fertile and nourished from within, and to finally relieving my anxiety, my constant changes in mood, and to never feel a panic attack again. Let me tell you those good news again. You can flourish from the inside out. But you may be asking, how do I do that? How do I clear the symptoms by nourishing the roots and making this internal soil fertile? Well, when the body is in homeostasis, it works at its best. When you use food as medicine and making proper lifestyle choices, you are supporting your hormonal health, your sugar balance, your digestion, you're sleeping better, you're relaxing, while also ensuring self love and compassion through the process. My experience has been with helping myself and also helping clients that applying a functional and integrative approach to health can be super helpful. This approach considers your daily practices, your action, thoughts, and routines as a whole connected entity for health. I would like to take a moment to tell you about my client, Sharon. Sharon actually came to me super frustrated and anxious as she was having so much trouble sleeping. She had no energy for her family, for her kids, her work, or even for herself. Her quality of life was slowly deteriorating, and she didn't want to continue living that way. I did help her and guided her towards supporting her gut health and liver health. And I also adjusted her nutrition to support her hormones, so specifically her cortisol and her insulin levels. We also shifted her lifestyle habits and rituals to support her sleep. As Sharon continued to implement her new intentional routines, her sleep actually improved tremendously and her energy is back, which is amazing news. I love these stories, they are super encouraging, and I want you to see how things can change for you if you have the right plan and support in place. These health issues of the past can actually be improved or completely transformed with the right system. You won't find health in a pill. What do you think? Is it healthcare or sick care? Conventional approaches to treating hormonal imbalances is to use drugs and pills. This, however, only helps find temporary relief, but it never treats the root of the problem and sometimes make you feel even worse. You may become frustrated when your doctor doesn't seem to provide you with any clarity of when or if you can ever stop taking these drugs that come with a long list of side effects, which of course you don't wish it will manifest in your body. Side effects like nausea, diarrhea, dizziness, headaches, insomnia, heart disease, stroke, blood clots, breast cancer, and the list goes on. This is when you begin to feel frustrated and confused and stuck. You know you don't want to take that pill, but part of you feels like you need to, and it is understandable. You want to feel better and find relief. You become a part of the sick care matrix, helping the pharmaceutical companies become richer and richer, unfortunately, while you become sicker and sicker with no clear concept of when or if this will ever stop. Do you know that every year billions are spent on prescription drugs? In 2020, the US alone spent $358 billion on drugs that keep you alive, keep you going, but don't provide you with true health. Imagine how true health will feel for you when you don't have to depend on a drug day by day, year by year. Real health gives you freedom. For example, I lead a community of 100,000 women who have concerns with the effects of their perimenopause and menopause on their overall health and brain health. The reason they start to look for these alternative treatments is because they don't have answers in the traditional system. Looking elsewhere and becoming aware of important facts their doctor never ever mentioned. One of those facts is, did you know that the hormonal changes that happen at perimenopause and menopause may affect your brain health later in life? But your lifestyle choices, your nutrition, your sleep, physical activity, and the way you deal with stress can actually have a very positive impact on your brain, even when diseases like Alzheimer's and other dementias run in your family. Did you also know that women suffer from Alzheimer's disease more than men do? And from every 3 cases of Alzheimer's, 2 are women, typically getting the disease at a younger age? These 2 are really hard to hear about, as so many women have gone through these procedures recommended by the doctors to reduce the risk of ovarian and breast cancer. But it is important for us to understand that these 2 surgeries can potentially increase the risk for Alzheimer's disease down the road. A lot of us women have had to go through these procedures. And if that's you, I want you to know that there are things that you can do to help protect the health of your brain. I'm sharing this information as basic knowledge for every woman out there so that next time you're at the doctor talking about these health decisions, you can bring this topic up and ask them, well, how about my risk for Alzheimer's disease? Looking for the quick fix, and 2 very important key points to understand: bioindividuality and body systems connection. You know, the same old approaches for healing aren't working for women any longer. There's no quick fix or magic pill, even though society is always looking for one. Time is passing by, and there's no more waiting to do to find a cure, while your physiological imbalances and dysfunctions keep showing up in your body. For me, as I kept looking for my own cure, I began to understand how balancing our hormones and supporting our body and nourishing our internal system comes linked to 2 very important basic concepts to understand. Bioindividuality is one of them. Understanding that each person is completely unique and there is no one size fits all approach. Each individual has its own unique biological makeup, nutritional needs, and lifestyle preferences. It is important to take this concept into consideration and make it clearly that we are all different. So, let me give you an example. Let's say that your friend finally gave you the answer for health. She has been trying intermittent fasting and it has helped her lose so much weight. She's vibrant and full of energy. You see her amazing results, so you begin trying this for yourself, only to discover that it's actually making you feel weak, sick, and you didn't lose any weight at all, and you don't understand why. And of course, it's making you feel discouraged and hopeless. This example can illustrate how each person and each body is completely unique, and a specific diet or lifestyle modification that can help a person feel energized and full of vitality can actually make another feel the complete opposite. This concept can open our eyes to the idea that even though there are so many different diets, protocols, and ways to live our lives, the same approach does not apply and work for everyone. Another important concept to understand is that the body systems are connected. You know, in modern medicine, we may have adopted the idea that each one part of our body is working separately. When our stomach hurts, we go to the gastroenterologist. When our heart feels funny, we run to the cardiologist. When our skin breaks out, we go to the dermatologist. But in reality, when one body system is being affected, the other ones are hurting too. because they are connected, working together to keep your amazing body running correctly. The same can be said when you begin to nourish one body system, for example, your digestive system. You can actually begin to see real positive changes happening in the other body organs and systems. It is amazing, the body, what it can do. In my situation, there was no way that my gastroenterologist would ever link my stomach pain to my hormonal imbalances, my hair loss and stress. And my dermatologist never ever mentioned how my hair loss could have anything to do with my hormones, my digestion, or my gut health. I recall one of my mentors mentioning this. Think of your body systems and diagnosis as a boiling pot of water. Think about this answer. Should you put a lid on it or should you turn the heat off? What's your answer? Do you see it now? When you alleviate the root causes of disease in your body, you're actually turning off the heat. That forest fire that is happening within your body. So by turning the heat off, the boiling stops, lessening your symptoms to the point that sometimes they may even disappear, which is amazing. Deep in the roots, and three very important key points to understand. Optimizing your hormone health so that you're able to relieve your symptoms and also protect the health of your brain long term. It does require the clear attention of three very important roots to look at. And if we go back to the tree analogy to illustrate, the terrain is your biological environment where your disease is being rooted, which changes positively or negatively depending on what you're eating, your toxic exposure, stress, infections, medications. And then on the other hand, the branches are your signs, symptoms, and your diagnosis, where your body is calling out for help and sending you a message, a signal, or a warning. By targeting the health of the three main roots, which are your genes, your digestion, and inflammation, you can begin to clean up your system and relieve the symptoms to the point that sometimes they may even disappear. Imagine this. How valuable is it for you to live a life with no disease, but health and freedom? To actually be able to live without worrying about daily symptoms, doctor's appointments, and doctor and hospital bills, but just really enjoying your life and living it at its fullest. Now, let's review these three main roots I've been talking about and why they're so important in your search for health. Let's talk a little bit about your genes. Do you know your genes are not your destiny? Does this sound new to you? Genetics only account for about 10 to 20% of disease, while the other 90 to 80% is really influenced by your lifestyle choices and how you're living your daily life, including your nutrition, physical activity or movement, your stress level, how well you're sleeping and relaxing, and also your working habits, smoking, alcohol consumption. This may sound surprising to you, but the study of epigenetics can clearly show how the way you live your life, your behaviors, your environment can make an impact in the way your genes behave and express themselves in your body. It can either be for disease or for health. And like Dr. Oz said, your genetics load the gun and your lifestyle pulls the trigger. Think about that. Another very important root cause to go over is digestion. And by now, you may be wondering, well, what does digestion have anything to do with my hormones? I gotta say, a lot. Your digestive system makes and regulates hormones that impact the health of our whole body. So, restoring our digestion and balancing our gut microbiome is one of the most important things we can do for hormone balance. So, here are some digestive symptoms that you shouldn't ignore. Are you experiencing constipation, bloating, diarrhea, gas, acid reflux, candida, maybe SIBO, parasites, or food sensitivities. Most women with hormonal imbalances have weak digestive health, affecting nutrient absorption, which then influences the way you make the hormones your body needs, affecting proper thyroid function, adrenal health, serotonin production, sleep, and more. So, what can we do about it? So, some of the things we can do to promote our gut health starting today is by eliminating and reducing inflammatory foods like sugar, gluten, and dairy, and any other food that you know you're sensitive or allergic to. We can also add in probiotic rich foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, kefir, kombucha. You can buy some of these in the store or you can make them yourself. How about drinking apple cider vinegar before meals? It's recommended to start with a teaspoon and work yourself up to a tablespoon mixed with a large cup of water. Check and see that you're having a daily bowel movement. These are super important for your hormonal health. And water consumption, about half your body weight in ounces. Make sure you're drinking enough water so that you're not suffering from constipation, which is actually contraindicated for hormonal retention in your stool. Okay, next we have a super important root, which is inflammation. And inflammation is very important for your hormone health and the health of your brain. So, inflammation is actually a double edged sword, I will call it, as it protects us from potential pathogens, bacteria, viruses, and more. But at the same time, when it transforms to chronic inflammation, it becomes a hazard, potentially turning on disease in your body and messing your hormone balance. A very important way to address inflammation is by balancing your blood sugar. When there's repeatedly too much glucose in your body, it leads to constant spikes, making your cells become what I would call numb to the effects of insulin and causing insulin resistance, which is super pro inflammatory. So, some of the symptoms you may be experiencing from high blood sugar would be things like fatigue and low energy levels, stubborn belly fat, constant thirst, blurry vision, hard to focus, frequent urination, maybe constant hunger, and the list once again goes on and on. So, high blood sugar can interact with your hormones negatively and amplify your symptoms, including body aches, insomnia, fatigue, things like PMS, and more. High blood sugar can actually raise the levels of testosterone, estrogen, insulin, and cortisol, dysregulating your whole system and your hormone health. So, some of the ways we can keep our blood sugar balanced is by avoiding those sweet breakfasts. So, no dessert for breakfast. That's super important. Make sure you start your meals with a plate of veggies or greens. Also, while you're cooking, maybe you can eat some broccoli, some cucumbers to start preparing your digestion and protecting the lining of your gut with those vegetables. Eat your starches with protein, fat, and fiber. So make sure in your meals you're including that PFF. Limit your sugar consumption. That would also include fruit and things like honey. Move your body after your meals. Maybe you can dance to your two most favorite songs in the living room or go for a 10-minute walk. And avoid those pro inflammatory foods we talked about: sugar, gluten, and dairy. The liver can also play an essential role in inflammation and hormone health. A sluggish liver can disrupt your hormones and also weaken your immune system. Your liver can impact almost every aspect of your health and how you feel emotionally and physically. So, some of the symptoms you may be having: severe menopausal symptoms, PMS, estrogen dominance, mood swings, chemical sensitivities, chronic fatigue, frequent illness, allergies, and the list goes on. You may not know, but the liver is responsible for processing up used hormones and removing them from your circulation. When your liver is overwhelmed cleaning up toxins, its hormonal function becomes compromised, contributing to hormone imbalances. So, some of the ways to give your liver support in order to support our hormones can be things like maintaining your blood sugar balance, which we talked about, lowering your toxic exposure, also supporting it with nutrition, like eating more cruciferous veggies, flax seeds, berries, salmon, fiber rich foods, sardines, maybe some herbs, and checking if you have any nutrient deficiencies. Let me tell you about my client Julia. Julia actually came to me worried and confused as she didn't know if she was destined to suffer in brain deterioration since her mother and grandmother suffered from Alzheimer's disease, and for her it was devastating. Through the program, Julia learned her own personal risk factors and the nutritional and lifestyle modifications that she is now putting into place in her life to reduce her own risk. She was also very happy to know this great news that Alzheimer's disease is not driven by genetics. Only a very small percentage is. But the way you live your life can really determine the future health of your brain. So I'm very excited for this kind of testimonials that I can share with you of people claiming back their health and also their hope for the future of their brain. Think about it. Becoming intentional with your health. There's really no other alternative. As much as you wished for someone to come and rescue you, you can only rescue yourself. Years go by, your body sends signals and warnings of the beginning of disease, and as much as you try to ignore these, how far do you go in neglecting what needs to be addressed? For me, it was when I started losing my hair at age 18. A very young woman with thinning hair sounds like a nightmare for any woman. That's the moment where my eyes opened up and I started looking for answers everywhere, never realizing that the problem could be hormonal and linked to my digestion. And a side note, I used to experience much pain in my stomach and didn't know these two were related. I became my own health advocate as doctors didn't give me any concrete answers and instead wanted to inject my scalp with some kind of medication. It has been a long lived journey of learning, understanding, recognizing, accepting, and pushing through the failures. So, I want to know what is holding you back from getting your health right? Are you experiencing that's enough moment right now? What are you missing in your life because your health doesn't give you the freedom? Is your health holding you back from living the life of your dreams? If this is you, don't do it alone. Work with a mentor. The bottom line is don't try it on your own. Utilize the experience of a person who has walked in your shoes and knows the path through trial and error. Someone who is dedicated and committed to your journey. Don't do it alone. You've probably tried that many times with no success. Change won't happen unless you decide to make a change from the same daily choices and routines. I understand this can be hard. I've been in your shoes, but what is the cost of not getting your health right now? Work with a practitioner that understands where you have been, your frustrations, but also your desires to become the best you can be. A coach that will walk by your side step by step in search for your good health. Investing in a mentor may be the best decision you will ever make to find that freedom that you're looking for, your health. No matter how much of a good lifestyle you may have, how much money you may have, etc., if you don't have your health, your quality of life diminishes. Health is the truest wealth on earth. I would like to know if you know the cost of not getting your health right. Let's go through these examples. Hospital cost averages $2,607 per day throughout the US. 60 to 65% of all bankruptcies are related to medical expenses. That is so sad. Thyroid cancer surgery costs about $20,000 to $40,000. Heart bypass surgery, around $123,000. That is insane. Even if you have excellent insurance coverages that pays 80% of the total bill, the remaining 20% can exceed $100,000 for major surgery. Plus, don't forget all the additional routine checkups and medication. Today, I promise to show you how to support your hormones to ease your symptoms, despite the fact your doctor told you there's not much that can be done. Why treating the outer symptoms with pills and remedies have not improved your issues. Unconventional ways of addressing hormonal imbalances, anxiety, and fatigue to be able to help your health not just today, but also your brain long term. The real root causes of hormonal imbalances and why quick fixes don't work. So, what do you need to get there? You need to adopt a new way of thinking, a change in mindset, realizing that health doesn't come in a pill and quick fixes approaches don't really work. The root cause approach, thinking about those genes, your digestion, your inflammation, restoring your gut, optimizing your liver, balancing your blood sugar, and transforming your lifestyle. You also need to think about intentionality with your health by creating new habits that support your health transformation by working with a mentor. So, these five shifts alone are enough to help you feel energized, healthy, and full of vitality and freedom to live the life you're looking for, the life of your dreams. Now you have a choice to make. You can take all this information I've given you and forget about it. You can keep struggling with your uncomfortable symptoms, weight, low energy, keep paying doctors to cover up the pain you're feeling, not getting the support, the motivation, intentionality, and accountability, and seeing your health deteriorate year after year. And honestly, I don't want this for you. But if you're ready to close this chapter of your life and begin a new healthy life, a life where you feel your best and you give your best, seeing the health results that you know you deserve, an empowered, energetic, and beautiful life that we only live once, free of disease, aches, and pain, if that's you and what you want for yourself, and you want to see real changes in the next 70 days, then here is what I have for you. I want you to imagine that empowered, energetic, and beautiful life, that life of freedom from disease and pain. And this is you. Take a deep breath, think about it. What's next? I have set aside some time in the next few days to speak with you personally about how you can apply the strategies you've learned from this masterclass to your life today. I've seen so many people struggle with so many health challenges, and I know I can help you overcome them. So, we will get on the phone for about 30 minutes, and during this session, I'll work with you to help you create a strategy with the next steps to take to help optimize your health. And the cost, it will be absolutely free. But this is not for everybody. So, who is this for? You must have a health problem that you want to resolve, and you feel and you're ready to start working on it right now. You are ready to commit to a proven holistic approach to restoring your health, and you want to be intentional with your health right now. If that's you, I invite you to book a session with me now. Why am I doing this? It is really my passion to help you feel your best so you can live your life to the fullest. No one really deserves to live a life with disease and pain. And it causes me much happiness, I would say, to be able to help people. I know that you may want my help. And if so, we can talk about it and see if we can work together. And if not, no problem. If you are ready to optimize the health of your body and your brain, don't hesitate to book a call with me. It's very easy. Just go to calendly.com. I'm going to leave you the link here. And I can't wait to see you there and see how I can help you. Thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure having you.